My headset broke like 2 3 days ago, and I keep forgetting to get a new one.
Yeah, there's a little bit of ambient noise from the highway or whatever that's outside your window, but not too bad.
Oh, yeah. Oh. I feel like it's been ages since we've talked.
It's been, 2 weeks? So,
What's been up?
not much. Went to a comic book convention last weekend with my brother-in-law and one of his workers.
Is that Comic Con?
It was a Comic-Con. Comic-Cons are, if you say, like, there's the Comic-Con, which is San Diego Comic-Con, and then there's Comic-Cons, which are any comic convention. But we've been to one in the Twin Cities like twice before. This is probably the lamest of the three because there was like the guest list wasn't very big, and I'm seeing that there's like a huge shift in demographics between the last one and this one. Like a lot more like Gen Z type people at this one. Like so like there were a lot of voice actors for different cartoons and things like that, and like the guy from Blue's Clues was there. Like the original Steve or whatever his name
Yeah,
was.
I was gonna say I thought he died.
No, he's around. And so there
Someone
was like
died. No. Blue's Clues. Someone killed himself.
well, it wasn't Steve because he's alive. Because I literally saw him last weekend. But I think I know what you're talking about. I think there was maybe somebody related to it that died. But yeah, so the like older generation, Gen Xers, like later millennials, like I am, or early millennials, I guess would be the they had the whole View Askew crew there. So like Clerks and Mallrats. You ever watch any of those movies?
Nah.
Any Kevin Smith movies? Jay and Silent Bob, anything like that?
No.
Yeah. Well, they had that whole crew there. They're pretty good movies if you ever are looking for something, but they're
Was
dialogue heavy films. So
it like 90% men?
oh no, not comic book conventions. No, a lot of them are females actually, like
Oh wow.
tons. I would I don't know. I don't like you expect it to be a bunch of like you know dudes in their 40s or whatever who collected comic books. And no, it's mostly anime like and type people that were there. I'd say the majority of people there were people who would be like interested in anime or any sort of animation type stuff. There were a lot of View Askew people that were there too, but um, yeah, the lines for like some of the anime voice actors were pretty long. So actually, I
Yeah.
think the longest, the most expensive autograph was actually the voice actor for Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, like the Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon that was on. So
You ever watch Boondocks?
Boondocks, I didn't watch it, but I remember the like what it looked like. But yeah, I can't say I watched any of it.
Yeah. I binge watched a couple of the cartoons like last month. I wasn't really, I didn't really watch it when it was out, but then I found myself on like a Saturday evening watching like 3 4 episodes at a time.
Yeah, I
But
haven't watched much in terms of anime. Like there was a time when I had well, I still have a friend, but I had a friend. He borrowed my wife and I some different series and stuff, so we'd watch through them. It's pretty good. I don't have anything against anime. It's
yeah, this one is like more politically conscious, and it kind of makes fun of black culture or African American culture, should I say?
gotcha. Yeah, trying to keep some level of running up during the winter too. Went to the gym just twice this week and just did 5Ks, and man, I sucked at every one of them. So I
How
don't
you
know.
just did?
I don't know. I don't know, man.
What was that like
I'm,
3 weeks ago? You just did it?
Yeah, it was only like 3 weeks ago. I could barely run and I don't know if it's just treadmill running is different, but yeah, I could barely run those 3 miles. I had to stop and walk for a little bit, but it might be treadmill running. Treadmill running is a different beast. Like, you can't you can't get like bursts of speed or energy and then just like really slow it down for times when because you're at a fixed pace. So, I mean, you can adjust the machine, but it's like you don't want to adjust the machine, you just want to run. So, I don't know.
I would argue that I don't really have a burst of energy unless I see the finish line, and then I may try to start sprinting for the last 5 to 10 seconds.
Do you listen to music while you're running?
Um, not it. It's rare. One is I haven't. I ran backwards like last week, but I keep aggravating my knee each time.
Yeah.
But I usually listen to like podcasts.
Hmm. Yeah, when I'm listening to like podcasts, I don't get bursts of energy, but if I listen to music, certain songs come on and it's like, oh yeah, and then
Eye on the
it's like,
tiger.
yeah, that kind of stuff. Um, I don't know. There's a few Eminem songs that do it for me. That Face Off song, that one did it for me with The Rock or Tech Nine.
Oh, yeah, look for it.
Yeah. So there's a few songs like that that'll like I just get like and then I run really hard, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm writing a greenfield project. It's a small tool to install a suite of software. You ever get an ego boost when like you write code from a clean slate for an employer and you're like, man, I am so gifted. They're so lucky. They're so lucky to have me write code for them. Like you ever like just somewhat worship yourself because of how elegant your code is and how it's so alien to the way other people write code.
No, usually I'm still looking for like that magic pathway to make everything just like perfect. I don't know. So every time I write something new, I like want to try experimenting another way of iteration of what I've done before. Like you know, I don't know, to make it as small. Really, my goal would be to make code as small as possible because .NET code gets so bloated um, that it's just like if I could just make it so that you've got like a couple files and they've got really small classes and they all work together so nicely. That'd
Mm.
be great, but
Well, this is an F
never
sharp.
that way. Yeah, never. Well, then it's super elegant already, so it don't matter. But I don't know. But yeah, I don't know when the next time we'll write something greenfield is. So we'll see. But I'm tired. I don't have to work today.
Really?
Yeah, it's Veterans Day, so I get the day off.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, I do anyways. I think it's because we must follow like bank hours or something because we're fintech. So I don't know. I think banks are closed today, maybe. But yeah. So you've been otherwise just sitting back coding, going, "I'm a god. I'm a god."
I went on vacation for the first time in like a year or two. When was the last time I was on vacation?
You can't take a vacation if you're not working, can you?
Oh, I
That's
was
just a
working.
trip. Oh, I
Oh,
mean, other than like on your beach mobile, I suppose.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I was still doing conference calls from Costa Rica last week. Yeah, it's the same story with Beach Mobile, man. They keep giving me, or the organization that I'm helping out, they keep me on my toes by giving me work that I'm not comfortable doing. That's like a learning curve to figure out how to do,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just hard for me to like try to disconnect and swap because I'm usually putting in, you know, earlier in the morning or later in the evening or maybe an hour or two on the weekends trying to onboard how to do something so that the next status update meeting I could like actually convey progress.
Hmm.
I wish I could just have a job like I'm a security guard so then I don't feel pressured and I could do what I want to do outside of business hours and not feel like I'm jeopardizing my contract by not using that time to understand what I'm paid to be doing. Have you ever been in a situation where like you sacrifice kind of your off hours to try to understand what the organization is trying to accomplish and try to make sure that you can keep up?
Not really. Usually the only time I'll engage in stuff like that after hours or whatever, if I'm really engaged, and then it's not really a job anymore. It's like I want to do it. Like there's times where I've sat up, stay like working through problems. The my biggest complaint would be like if I do that and then like I get the like I'm really excited about the solution. I've like put in a bunch of extra time trying to figure it out and like think through the how we could make it better, and then like they just like no, we're not gonna do it anymore or whatever. They pull the rug out from underneath you. Um, that's how I felt at my last gig because I like spent a bunch of time like trying to figure out how to make like our inventory system work really really well. And like I had this whole idea of how it could be structured and how things should be paired with each other and how the services that were needed, and then it was like, well, technically that is owned by this other team, platform team they called them. Those were like core services or whatever. So it's like you can like give them your vision, but they do it. So then like, well, we don't really have autonomy then. We can't really like do anything. Like this all depends on like features that are or capabilities that we would bake into like these backing systems. It's like I spent all this time getting really excited about something I couldn't even build. So pretty lame.
Mm.
But I'm trying kind of like going forward to just not get as so involved in or get too excited about anything because it's just like I don't know. Software just isn't magical anymore. It's just kind of a job. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Gambler, how are you?
yeah, well, now that's a name I haven't heard in at least 2 months,
2 weeks.
maybe.
Like no, uh, to this day, Sweden, Switzerland. I don't know
Switzerland,
why those two names sound so close to
because
each other.
they both start with an S and a W.
He's Switzerland, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why my mind struggles with that.
just like maybe you got to create like a device in your head, so it's like
No, maybe
think
those two countries need to go to war so one can just uh, annex the other, and then I
just
don't have to think about the two anymore. Yeah.
just be like Gamlar's the Swiss Army knife of viewers. I don't know, and then you could just like always be like, oh, well now I remember Gamlar's Swiss Army. He's Switzerland.
Why are the Swiss like? Why is that country known for watches? What is it about watchmaking that comes out of that country?
I think it's watches. Excuse me. I think it's watches come out of that country, and that's why it's known for watchmaking and baking
And chocolate,
and chocolate. Yeah, the Swiss are peak at their artistry,
craftsmanship,
craftsmanship. There you go. It's
software
because they all
craftsmanship
own. It's
still a
because they
thing.
all own guns. That's why.
Software craftsmanship still a thing.
Yeah, I mean, sort of. I think we over-index on it though. Like so much of like time is spent trying to make code nice and clean and organized and neat, and it always gets crappy. Like it there's no, like, you think something's great now and then you find like you start punching holes in it, and man, there's definitely bad software out there, but
Even when it's written by one person, or are you talking about when someone else gets added to the code
even when
base?
it's written, because you learn that, like, software engineering is a knowledge gaining activity. It's not just knowledge about the domain, it's knowledge which you gain, but it's knowledge about how to solve things better. So it's like everything that you've written, as long as you're continuously like learning things, everything you've written, you feel like you could do better if you just rewrote it again, right? I don't know if there's, and it's like non-deterministic. There's no real way to say like this is the best way that this should be, but you always get somebody who's like, "Oh, this is crap," and everyone's got so much opinions about different things. It's like, I don't know. I used to be somewhat opinionated about things, and now I just like let it go. I don't know. It's like I'll just try to make the code work within whatever way that
That's how I
somebody
am
had it set up.
about uh, Git strategy or branching strategies.
Yeah, I can't remember how that went because we talked about it last time. I'm like, I don't know that I've ever had problems with Git and merging and all that.
Well, so like trying to do a huge refactoring of like a file that's maybe 5,000 lines of code, and then there's two other developers that are working on the same file while I'm refactoring it, and then just having to go through the merge conflicts, and then you address like 2 dozen merge conflicts, and and of course there's other files too, but that's the biggest file. Um, so you address the merge conflicts, and like, oh, finally, all right, all tests pass. Let me launch the system under test. That appears to be working. Great, right? You submit a pull request, and then it's like more merge conflicts. And it's like, so that's a part where have I gotten better at like Git? Yeah, I'll own it. Like there's things that I just need to know in order to work within the parameters of an organization. I understand that. Sometimes I just wish that there were strategies that were kind of like, trying to be careful how I say this. Uh, Sometimes I wonder if by default, if we did like trunk based development and then did feature branches, if they would still choose feature branches.
Well, I mean, if you do trunk-based development, you're still going to run into conflicts. It's That's not going to help with that at all. Um,
Well,
it just gets really hard when you have multiple people working on it.
that's kind of Boolean logic. The question is, will the severity of conflicts, or will the amount of conflicts be the same, or would it be a tighter feedback loop in which, yeah, you run into a hiccup slash conflict, but then it gets quickly addressed because people are checking in code like every 15-20 minutes.
No, I don't know. I mean, the only thing I could see it would be saving on is because usually there's like a time where, okay, you get an approval for something, you can merge, and then you get a conflict. Then you have to solve the conflict and then get reapprovals, usually based on like merge policies. I think it
Mm-hmm.
would save on having to get the reapprovals because you're like, I just merged in this stuff. It's resolved some conflicts. The likelihood of it being broken is pretty low. I could see saving some time there, but otherwise, I don't know. The thing is, you're always feature branching, regardless of if you do trunk based, because you're just doing a local feature branch that nobody can see. You know.
No, everybody's working off the same branch. What do you mean?
Well, yeah, you're working on, but you're not. You're not working off of origin main. You're working off of local main. Local main is a branch of origin main. That's
But
on your local machine.
everybody's work. Everybody. So when you're consistently checking in code once test pass, which means multiple times an hour,
Hmm.
everybody is picking up those updates when they're checking in code. Like
I know,
again, like
but
every
that's really no different than putting it into a branch on the origin server and then
it's way different
merging it.
because branches don't live for 15, 20 minutes at a time when you're doing feature branches. They don't.
Yeah,
When doing trunk based, like as soon as something compiles or as soon as something passes, like okay, check it in. You just keep on going, and so your people are getting notified of breaking changes way sooner, and it's usually not that much code that could be injected in order for there to be a insurmountable amount of complexity.
yeah. So really, the actual heart of this argument is whether like code review has any value or not. That's actually the biggest hurdle to all of this. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it has value. I think let me make sure I look at Gambler's comments.
and
Well,
he
that's
just said,
not
"Well, that's conflicts galore." Ahoy.
what with what I said, or
Yeah, yeah. Kind of earlier on.
I don't think so. We're assuming that when you're doing trunk based development, like I just don't think that you're going to have half a dozen files or a dozen files that you've touched within the past 15 minutes before the test pass. But I think that's totally common when you're doing feature branches. Like you're literally doing a feature, which is a collection of files, versus you just continuously adding code that compiles or code that does not break what already works. You have a huge batch that you're checking in versus just snippets of code that doesn't break what already exists. Uh, I think the culture is we want to believe that what we've been doing is the only way to do it, and there's no alternative that could be productive. And I just think that's flawed logic. Only
Yeah,
because
I,
I've
I
been
think it's
doing
worth.
it.
Yeah, I think it's worth experimenting with. But I don't know. I'd be skeptical that it would be much better because I've tried to do like a little trunk based development right against something that I've had before, and it's just it like I run into issues where it's like, all right, time to push to main, and there's just conflicts right away. Like it happens the
Yeah,
same way,
and
and
the
it's
question
annoying.
is, how often are you pushing to May?
Yeah,
Like when I'm running code, dude, I'm literally like committing and pushing. Like, well, you said push to main, right? So I'm literally like, and this is using toggle or what do you call it? Feature flags,
feature
right?
flags. Yeah,
So
which has its own set of trade offs if you're not an organization that will religiously clean those up after they've been used.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. I think that regardless of whether that would be a better way or not, thing is that people are really against trying to experiment with anything um, new like that. And I guarantee because I've actually been like if because that one organization is like, well, we're having problems getting code reviews through, and it's like, well, how much are we actually stopping in code review? Like, how many bugs? Do we have the numbers on that? And then why don't we try not doing code reviews, pull requests? Like maybe still post them, but let's just give the give the person liberty, the choice, the developer the choice whether they want a code review or not. There's plenty of times where you write like one-liner changes and you're like, there's no way this is going to break. Like you're pretty confident in it, and testing would figure it out pretty quickly if it was broken, right? I don't know why I can't just merge in those cases. I still have to get code review. There are things like SOX compliance or whatever that would be that you do have to have like reviewing for, just so that you're not like injecting code in that's going to be, it has to be like reviewed by someone else. But if you're in more of like a situation where there's not compliance issues like that, man, I would just keep going.
Mm.
Yeah.
Career change. We gamble right. We have a show, ask, ship workflow. Show, notify reviewer, but merge ahead. Ship, not worth taking a look, like fixing typos, etc. Ask, I need feedback on this before merging.
Well, that's really cool. Now put that in like a really fancy blog post and get somebody like famous in the industry to pick it up so that I can be like, look at this really cool.
Well, what's interesting is he did it functionally. He put everything in the list.
Everything in a list. Isn't that a, I think that's how they do tuples in JavaScript too. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm confusing something. Because there's really no difference between a list and a tuple other than you can add to a list, right?
I think there's no. I think a tuple and
Yeah,
a property are the same thing.
tuples are kind of structured that way, I think, in JavaScripty land. Anyways, notify merge ahead. Ask, I need feedback on this before merging. So show means, okay, but merge ahead. Notify reviewer, but merge ahead. Oh, like let people know if you want to take a look at this, you can, but I'm going to merge it regardless. Ship is just like, yeah, I'm just going to merge this one. It's here for documenting the fact that I did it. That's really neat. I need that. I need a show, ask, ship. But it needs a really cool, like, acronym. SHASH. Or something like that.
I know as soon as I
Shash.
put money back in the stock market, I'm going to lose like 50% of my investments as soon as I do it.
Not if you put it into Vanguard ETFs. Then it will
Okay.
just sit and not gain any money. Well, it'll gain money slowly over years.
Bitcoin is trying to go up. Oh yeah, it just passed 37,000. Now I needed to get to like 70,000 so I could break even.
Yeah. We'll see if it hits that again sometime. I wonder how close they are to mining the last. Have they mined the last Bitcoin yet? I wonder how far along. And
I haven't been following. I thought you mined to process transactions.
oh,
Right?
it'll be a ways. It's not going to be till 2140 is the estimated time, which all the Bitcoins will be mined. So we've got ages left. We'll be dead. Almost 100 years.
That's bleak.
Yeah. Well, we've only got 20 plus or minus 20 years to live, so it's super bleak. Man. What else is new?
Still want to be a digital nomad. I got a taste of it when I was in Costa Rica, but that was only like an hour ahead of Pacific time, and in Miami, I'm 3 hours ahead, so that doesn't really test the waters.
Well, what would it be like to live in Costa Rica? Is it like
No, I ain't trying to live in Costa Rica. I'm trying to live in Asia Pacific.
I know,
Like,
but could you take a like the commitment is a lot less if you just go to Costa Rica, isn't it? I'm just wondering how if the cost of living is similar
no, I think it's cheaper.
in Costa Rica than
Yeah.
in Thailand.
Then in Miami,
No, I'm talking about in like Asia
uh,
Pacific versus going to an island country.
um, short answer is I don't know, but I would assume that Asia Pacific would be cheaper.
Hmm.
Like in Costa Rica, you can still spend, or maybe it depends on the resort towns, but you could still spend U.S. dollars. You can't do that in Philippines or Thailand.
Nam.
No,
So what do you need to make that a reality? And what's stopping you? Just your job or jobs? You don't know how to speak
uh, a
the
sense of
language.
a sense of stability. So like one is preferably I would like to have 100K saved, and then in theory, a combination of maybe not even 100K, a combination of maybe 80K, um, and a stable economy. So in theory, I can make maybe 1,000. We'll say in theory, I can make like 500 a week just off of the stock market, and yeah, in a couple, so 2 weeks of my portfolio would pay for like my crib out there. But things are just so unpredictable. And when I say like I lost like 70% of my investments that I invested responsibly, like I had a portfolio that was like balanced, like that makes me not want to get back in the market.
Yeah, it's a gamble.
Even when I had a balanced portfolio, man, I took a hit. And the IRS, they just like, we want our money that you made. I'm like, yeah, but the money that I made, I invested so I can make more, and I lost. Doesn't matter. You made this amount of money, regardless of what you lost investing.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna write us a check. Right? I didn't tell them that over. I didn't talk to Motor Fund. I just know what it is, right? So I
Yeah.
just had to cash out and realize that loss.
Hmm.
Or shall I say, I had to liquidate and realize that loss.
Interesting.
Defund the IRS.
Yeah. So if you want a stable economy and 100K in the bank, so what you're saying is you're going to vote for Trump next November.
I'm not a registered voter, but uh, if I were, I think it would be what's his name, Alaswamy or Trump. Is his name Alaswamy? What's the Indian dude?
Yeah. Or gosh, I can't. I don't know.
You know
Starts
what I'm
with a
talking
V,
about,
right?
right?
Yeah, Vivek.
Yeah.
Vivek is his first
Is he
name.
Indian? What is it?
I think he must be Indian. Vivek Ramaswamy. He is. I'm guessing he's of Indian descent. Let me see. Where does it say? He was born in Cincinnati to Indian immigrant parents. So
Okay,
yeah, he's Indian.
it's from my home state.
But yeah. Well, I don't know that he'll get the nod though. For the nomination, I'm pretty sure Trump is going to be the nominee,
If
unless
he doesn't get
somehow,
locked up,
huh?
if he doesn't get locked up,
Well, even if he does get locked up, you can still run for president in jail.
you can have a felony and still run for president.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing that would prevent you
That's
from
flawed. You can't have a felony and be a gun owner, but you can have a felony and be the what's it called?
you still have to win an election though. I mean, the only thing that prevents you from being the president, like assuming you're otherwise qualified, is that if you've done an actual insurrection, like you've and they're trying to swing that January 6th thing so hard to do that. That was the whole game plan all along, was to try to peg it as an insurrection, and then it was a riot for sure. Not excusing the riot part, but it wasn't an insurrection. It's like, are you kidding me? Yeah, sure. They were really going in there to totally overthrow the government. Uh-huh. Like, and they were gonna succeed at it, even though y'all just could just escape and like, no, that was just it's stupid. So that was the whole game, and you could see it. Minnesota just struck down a challenge by people to take him off the ballot because of that. So it was really like a political dog and pony show. I mean, hats off to them to thinking about it, but it's shy of like, an assassination or something. That's the only like option they have left to try to get rid of Trump, because he's not like, I'm not saying that that'd be a good thing. It would be bad, obviously, but um, I don't know what they'll do. They're some crazies, but I don't know. Trump's winning against Biden in most of the big
I
states and
think
stuff.
everybody
So
will win against Biden.
yeah, I'm surprised the Democrats haven't brought out a new candidate yet. Like, I kind of feel like they have to at some point, because like Biden, he's just I can't imagine him from to 2028 being the president. Like, if he wins somehow, whoever the vice president is going to be the president within, I don't know. Actually, do you know what my biggest thing is about why I think Trump will win? Because it'll prove that the world is a simulation to me. Absolutely 100% prove it. And I'll tell you why.
Well, I know you
Watch,
wanted me to ask.
yeah, watch the roast of Donald Trump on Comedy Central. And if
Okay.
you look at and if you watch that, you'll see that they backdraped the behind him. They backdraped him with a picture of the $1,000 bill. And who is on the $1,000 bill?
Trump.
No, it's Grover Cleveland. And what was Grover Cleveland? The
There's
only
$1,000 bill.
Yeah,
Why haven't I seen it?
I think it's only used for like government stuff,
Like
like for
planes,
large whatever. But
like
yeah, Grover Cleveland, who's on the $1,000 bill, backdraped Trump in his roast. Grover Cleveland is the only split term president that we have. So he had a term, he lost it to someone else, then he brought back another term. So I'm if they bet if this is some like hint that like, oh, they chose to put $1,000 bill behind him instead of like they put a C note, that could have been a thing. There's probably some other stuff they could have put on behind him, real estate, whatever. But they chose to put a picture of Grover Cleveland on on this backdrop. Like, and if he turns out to be the second split term president, just like Grover Cleveland was, I'm just
wasn't he assassinated?
who Grover Cleveland?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't really know much about his presidency other than he was the split term presidency. Um, But yeah, I'd be like, yeah, that was the simulation, making fun of us, kind of a deal. So
No, what I predict is Mayor Lightfoot will be the president 5 years from now.
who?
The Chicago mayor or the ex
Oh,
Chicago mayor. Well, things are getting so polarizing that yeah, we'll probably have a minority LGBTQ like female president within the next 8 years.
nah, I doubt it.
No, it's things. There's an agenda. Corporations are following it. Right, that's where leadership is going. So
Yeah, well, we'll see how that turned out for Bud Light. So
is it still being boycotted?
yeah, yeah. There's really people just gave up on it. So it's like there's a whole market share that they'll never get back from that whole thing. I'm not saying that it was like I don't really see any problem. I don't know why people made such a big fuss about it. Like, okay,
I do.
yeah, there's a guy named Dylan Mulvaney. He's like, okay, they made him a special beer and he's gonna go after that market for them. I don't care. Like,
You don't
you
see a
know,
problem with that.
I never, yeah, but Bud Light was just terrible tasting. I don't like it very much, but um,
As a father, you don't see a problem with the conditioning that government is pushing.
this isn't government. This is a private.
I think it is government.
This is a private company.
I think this is what Obama fought for. That this was his number one priority was LGBTQ, and I think the president's not dictated by the people; it's dictated by corporations, and so corporations push their agendas for government to enact. So yeah, I think it's bigger than that.
Yeah, well, I think you could say that about pharmaceuticals and the military-industrial complex for sure.
Yeah,
I guess you could call it
our
the.
military will be
Yeah.
alternative lifestyle, and we're going to lose the war against countries that have masculine men that handle their business versus the United States soldiers that are scared of breaking their nails. So
Yeah, I wonder if this is just a side effect of the fact that we didn't have a big war for the last, or like a major conflict in the last. Well, it's really. I mean, we were finishing off Afghanistan and whatever, but we weren't. It wasn't like major fighting or anything over there.
it's, I believe it's a side effect of the modern woman movement and the policies that have resulted from modern women electing officials based on emotional thinking versus like informed decision making and logic. I really do believe that. It's
Yeah,
the family court system. That's not a product of men voting in politicians to make that. And a lot of things that are being pushed and conditioned, like we are a feminine society of people. That didn't happen out of nowhere. That happened because these agendas keep getting pushed down on us by politicians that get voted in by a specific demographic that make up the majority of voters. So it is. And this is what we should expect. So
hmm. Well, anyways, definitely can see that Biden's not going to be running. Like, I just don't even know if he'll make it another year. He's so old. Like he's visibly old. Like, not just old. Like Trump is as old as he is, but he doesn't feel old. Like you watch a speech or a rally from Trump, and he's doesn't look like he's Biden.
no, I'm serious. When you think about the policies that a certain demographic of people elect, look at California, look at
Yeah,
LA, look at the Bay Area. Think about the type of people that voted for those policies.
yeah,
Like there's nothing chauvinist about calling a spade a spade. It's not. When people focus on feelings instead of focusing on research, this is the consequence of what you have.
yeah. Everybody focuses on feelings, though. It's not just women; it's men too. It's a lot of everything is feeling based. Almost once you realize that, I think the world will be much more clear because everything is about how people make you feel
You know, okay, so who makes decisions based on their feelings more? Which gender?
on their feelings more.
Yeah,
I think
who are emotional thinkers?
I'm pretty sure we're equally that way.
Okay.
But I mean,
If
it's
you honestly
depend.
believe that men and women think the same way,
Oh, and
then
I'm not saying we
yeah,
think the same way. I'm saying that we're mostly all driven by emotions, though.
we are driven by emotions, but the reason why we have terraformed planet Earth is because men have built it because they're able to think logically about A to B to C, and this is how you put things together. If that's not the
It's
case, then name three female inventors.
Name three female inventors.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know, man.
exactly.
Grace
So
Hopper
again,
invented COBOL.
logical
Like,
thinkers
yeah.
versus emotional
No,
people.
but that's I wouldn't say that that's logic for so if you look at it like men are tend to be thing oriented or like object oriented is what I say. Like and my grandma nailed this. She once told me she's like I don't really like hanging out with women very much. They're always talking about people. And when you talk to men, they're always talking about things. Now you can be like emotional driven, but think about things and not, you know, try to gear those emotional thoughts towards the ruination or the like expansion of some other person. You can drive it into some sort of like endeavor or problem or whatever. Um, you know, it's just I think it's the way that we just socially interact and how we manage our hierarchies and like what males are rewarded for. Like we get rewarded for being inventors and being the handy people and fixing things and that's our role is to be to think about constructing the world around us.
Everybody gets rewarded with financial security when they put in the effort.
Yeah.
The difference is men tend to focus on STEM, like programs that actually pay them to be valuable in society and produce and to evolve. And women tend to focus on what humanities, they
Yeah, it's
communications, psychology, right? And that doesn't really evolve. So we do think differently. I'm not attacking you, but if you
yeah.
can't if the majority of people can't name three female inventors, then there's not equality when it comes to what motivates women versus what motivates men when it comes to decision making. It's not. So
Yeah, like I said, and I think it's just like
California is a
it's
product of what happens when people vote for those types of policies on their
yeah,
feelings.
it's and like I said, I don't think it's feelings. I think it's more of it's just like an orientation of what you care about and what's like important to you and how agreeable you are. And there's a bunch of stuff to it, but like I said it can be like building, even inventing things can be totally driven off of emotion. It takes obviously logic and reasoning to solve certain problems, but the choice to actually do it and to spend time doing there is heavily emotional.
You probably have 4 billion females, right, and 3 billion males. I don't know if those are the exact numbers. If you can't name three female inventors, there's a point there, right? The fact that that's not something that they focus on. That's not something that in general they tend to
Well,
care about.
let me say this then. I can't name three black inventors at all.
Okay.
So does that mean like black men don't invent?
No, the gas mask was invented by somebody. But I mean, that's a valid key point
Yeah,
if
I
you
mean,
want
I
to go
can
there.
if we want to Google it, I'm sure I can find you three female inventors. I can probably
Yeah.
find dozens or hundreds or thousands. You know, um,
Yeah. But
it's
if we're going to go there, then we have to ask the question all
I can
right.
barely
So,
name three white inventors.
Right. So how many black men are actual like graduates from universities compared to white men? Like in order to invent things, modern day, typically people are highly educated and they come out of educational institutions,
Yeah,
right?
well, the thing is there's people inventing stuff all the time, but we don't
But
know who's
no,
behind them.
no, but it's totally common for women to go to college. There's more enrollment by women
Yeah.
at universities than men. So saying, hey, you can't name three black inventors, and I will say, okay, well, what is the percentage of white male graduates to black male graduates?
But I don't exactly think college implies that you're an inventor.
Well,
A lot
I
of
think
people, men graduate from college and never invent. They don't invent
okay,
shit.
what this is true, but if we're talking about modern society, universities they do what? They condition you to perform critical thinking. If you want to invent something that doesn't exist, that usually
Yeah.
requires critical thinking on how to produce it.
Well, yeah, it's problem solving and knowing strategies and really, I think a lot of invention is just being able to handle failures, right? Because that's what you're gonna do a lot before you actually reach a point. Um, I don't think they teach that very well in school, but I don't even think that's the point of education. At least even into college now, I don't think colleges are teaching critical thinking like they used to. I mean, maybe, but
Well, you're talking about universities.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, if you go through a STEM program, I would say that you have to.
yeah. You learn like, well, even computer science. There's like the first class is all about problem solving techniques, but um, yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know.
I think you do know. You're just trying to be careful. If I keep saying that the California state is an example of feelings-based thinking versus informed decision making based on data,
Yeah. I
I think
honestly
that would
the
be
the
my
the
statement.
biggest thing that I could say would be I wish we could see different is if, and I don't know, they might be changing this, but is if women have to sign up for the draft.
They should.
Yeah. Because it's like a skin in the game kind of thing. Like I didn't
It's,
think about this before, but it's like because it's like yeah, you know you want men to be the ones, but then it's like who gets to vote in policies that could send you to
mhm.
war? And then it's like, well, then you ask the question, well, if you've gone beyond that point where you have skin in the game, is it like then, like when you're older and you're no longer eligible for the selective service, should you still get to vote? Because you can't, like, but then it's like, well, it could be your children who are being sent to war at that time. So, but then not everyone
Well,
has
equality
kids.
is
So,
equality of is equality, and like I'm not a registered voter, but I do think voting is a privilege. And if felons, if convicted felons can't vote, right,
they can in
then
some places. I think they made it in Minnesota, so they can now.
okay,
But
they can vote for a president.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that they can.
Okay, yeah, but I totally agree with you. Like
They
if,
can
if
own
this,
guns still.
equality is equality. So don't force young men to register with the selective service, and if they don't, then they're deprived of government support for college or other subsidies.
Well, it's beyond that, as you're basically like almost like treated like non-citizen now.
Yeah. So, but you want to know why they're not going to introduce a bill for women to be required?
I thought that they are
Because
changed.
women probably, I'm almost positive, vote way more than men do, and so they're not going to have that.
Yeah, no decision yet. I mean, you could just say like women are like could be in the selective service, but just make it like so that pregnancy's an out or whatever. But I don't know. Yeah, it's a big world that we live in, but I don't know, maybe just gotta be along for the ride and not be so angry about it and realize that our distaste for the way that things are isn't really gonna be isn't really a big deal. Like Gambler's got it right. Most things are feeling gut based. Yeah. Almost all code is feeling gut based. You can just label it best practice and then it doesn't need any justification. Best practice is a fake justification. This is best practice. But who cares? Is it better than what I'm doing here? Well, maybe. Is it gonna ship it faster? No. Is this gonna break things? No. Then what's the big deal? Let's just merge it. Man, everything
No,
is
let's get back on misogyny. I don't know why you're trying to talk about code again.
tied to talk about code. So you don't have to walk on eggshells all day.
No, like I'm a really good coder, man. Like I sometimes like worship myself because I'm like it's kind of like Egyptian hieroglyphics, like how elegant my stuff is, how organized it is, and it's like, man, you can't teach this. It's just like it's in my DNA.
I used to feel that way about myself. I don't know. When I'm on, but man, it's been a while since I've been on for programming like stuff and just like but
I think I
I
want
don't
to go
know.
to I think I want to go to school for bounty hunting.
Yeah, when are you gonna take that up? You're not getting any younger, man.
And it's
Scott
you want
Nimron,
you want
backwards
a bounty hunt
bounty
with me?
hunter. Huh?
You want a bounty hunt with me? That's my pickup line. They're like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "I'm a bounty hunter." Like, really? Like, what does that mean? And
You're so
then
dangerous.
in Florida, I'll pick up illegals, kick in their door.
How do you have to go to school to be a bounty? I'm sure there's a licensure, but
There's a license, but I don't think you got to go to formal training.
Florida bounty hunter license. Let's see. Florida bounty hunter guide and steps. Requirements for prospective bail bond agents. In Florida, it's a felony to present yourself as a bounty hunter. Did you know that?
No,
But you may
no.
work as a bail bond agent if properly licensed. Yeah, so don't present yourself as a bounty hunter to someone because it's a felony.
What does that even mean?
Let's see. Well, I'll look up Florida bail bond agent. Here we go. Florida bail bond now, man. Where's like the government? You know what I'll just do is I'll go to Chat GPT and ask.
Have you bought it?
Yeah. How
They're, just,
do
they're having an app store. You
I
know,
know? I tried playing with creating a GPT for something. It's kind of neat.
just want to create one for phone sex.
How do you become a bail bondsman
Okay, that one went over your head.
agent in Florida? Here we
I
go.
worked most week on the build and still happily hate all build systems.
Yeah, there's no build systems will ever be nice.
Hold on,
They all
what's
suck.
did he say societies are complex? Gallner, your spelling is suspect. What does the second to last comment say?
So so scientist societies are complex beasts, I think. Is it supposed to be societies instead of sociantes? I don't know if that's how you'd pronounce it.
First most week in the build.
Societies are complex beasts, I'm guessing. Okay, so you have to pass a state examination, complete training, obtain a license. Yeah, GPT can now go to like out to the web too, but I don't know. Sometimes I
They
ask it to
say
do it, and it doesn't know how to
they
do
say,
it.
they say it's current up to 2021.
Well, that's for the GPT-3, but GPT-4 is current, like more current than that, 2022 sometime.
That's not what I saw yesterday on the news report. It's 2021.
I'll ask what.
In regards to what it's been trained on. How is it going to be trained on 2023 and 2023 is not over yet?
I think it's up to 2022 is what I said, or through 2022.
It's 20.
Oh yeah, I have been trained on a diverse range of data up to April 2023.
Okay, so
So
what I've read by the spokesperson when he gave a keynote address and versus your internet page is
this is Chat GPT answering it.
an imposter.
Have you?
No.
I've done some image. I showed you the image generation on it. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, my favorite new game though is to take a picture of something, ask ChatGPT to describe the picture, and then to feed it back into ChatGPT to produce the picture to see how well it can like match it up. So it's like take a picture of you, be like describe in detail what this person looks like.
Yeah, that's like Inception.
Yeah, so it's like it's kind of fun. It's like what will it produce? Because it can look at images and try to describe them, um, which is really neat. But
I was binge watching YouTube. I have a YouTube problem. Like I can't stop consuming content. You know, in Florida, there's a town uh, specifically for what do you want to call it, for child molesters.
is there?
Yeah, I've only in Florida, right?
Yeah.
I was watching it.
Is it named Miami?
Nah,
Oh,
it's
that's for Instagram models. I forgot.
it's some like hick town, but like when people get out of prison,
It's
that's
just
where
like a
they go. Kind of like a
halfway.
refuge. Well, it's kind of like a refuge because I don't think why sex predator doesn't seem like the right term. What's the term that's used? Is it sex predator?
Sex offenders.
Sex offender. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm almost confident sex offenders can't just live anywhere, right? They have
Yeah. No, they have to like we get them, in town, but they get like we get notifications like a level 3 sex offender is moving 1 block from your school. It's like, oh, great.
yeah. So I was watching it, and a lot of the stories were. Did you ever have like LimeWire?
Yeah.
A lot of it, they were claiming that they were downloading music, right?
Hmm.
And the they never heard of the artist, but they wanted to like listen to the music to see what it was about, right? Which I kind of don't believe. And they're like, lo and behold, it was like child porn, and then like the Broward County Sheriff like kicked in their door, and then they went to jail for like a year or two,
Mm.
and they ruined the rest of their life. But you kept when I was watching this YouTube video about it, like those were a lot of the cases is like file share software, and people claiming that they didn't know that when they downloaded actually had like children on it. Like,
Yeah, it's been a long,
I
long
don't
time
believe
since
that
I
though.
used file share software. Is LimeWire even still a thing?
I don't.
They
I don't.
use like BitTorrents now, is what people do. Like they'll use a torrent.
I don't. I don't think so. Like, 'cause what would be the purpose of it?
I don't know, because I mean, it used to be about file share, so
Yeah, but I
now
mean,
you can
you
just
could go on
share in
YouTube
Google
Music,
Drive.
you could go on Pandora, go and do a search for whatever artist and play the music.
Yeah, I used LimeWire, Gambler to download music back in the day. I mean, yeah, that was illegal for sure, but yeah, now it's like I don't know. I don't know. It's probably all deleted off of all my hard drives, hopefully. But
Gamblers spelling is pretty much what I struggle with at work. Where like I'll quickly type up a message, and then like I have to go back 30 seconds later after realizing that I spell things wrong, or yeah, basically my spelling is messed up. So for example, like last Thursday, I'm like, hey, I got this, that, and the other working. However, or yeah, I got this, that, and the other working. I'm not doing this now. Okay. What I meant
you're
to say
doing
is
this
I'm
down.
now doing this
Doing this,
now, but
yeah.
actually put a T. And I didn't catch it for like 15 seconds. And he was like, oh, well, just keep it on your task list because we're going to need it done eventually. And I'm like, sorry, that was a typo. I said, I'm now doing this.
Yeah.
So,
The I like I'll do that with Slack. I'll post messages and then I'll reread them and be like, "Oh crap, this was oh no." Just write it in a chat GPT first and then ask it to make it sound really white. I wonder what would happen if you did that.
or sound really black.
how,
You got
how,
to try that.
all right, I'll try it. I bet I can go one way and not the other. I don't know what to even
No,
write.
you try the black one first.
Huh?
Try the black one. Like,
Make this message
sound black.
sound black.
Or you may have to say sound from an African
I
American.
paid my taxes today and then ate an aspirin.
This is going to be funny.
I bet it's going to say I can't do that. Content policy. Oh, no. Oh, so so instead of I paid my taxes today and then ate an aspirin, it says handled my taxes today, then popped an aspirin.
Really?
Yeah. I need a more complex
I
saying.
didn't think it was going to. I thought it was going to get confused over black and think it was a color and not a culture.
Do the same, but this time
More ghetto.
on this message. I don't know. I got to find like a chunk of text. Like, I need just like.
Copy the first paragraph of George Washington Carver's biography.
I need like a random blog post. Is what I need. I'm gonna look up a Jimmy Bogart. I'm gonna look him up on Mediator, and I'll grab something from Mediator. Oh. Here we go. As I've pointed out in this post.
Tell us a rap about prison fights.
I don't know. It's just it rewrites it, but it just so I grabbed the post. It said I've been pointed at this post from various sources. I thought I'd take the time to address the criticisms one by one, not because I personally care too much. Media evolved over many years to solve many problems people face, but since others seem to care, here we go. And the black version is I've seen this post flagged up from different places, so I figured I'd break down the critiques one by one. Not that it bothers me much, you know. Mediator's been growing over the years, tackling challenges my squads ran into. But since it's got folks talking, let's dive in. I don't know. So you want me to write more ghetto?
Yo,
I bet
listen
now.
up. I got a tale to unfold about. Hold up. I just told ChatGPT to write about prison fights. Yo, this thing is writing an essay. Hold up.
Write a rap about prison fights?
No, I already did it.
Oh,
already did it. It said, yo, listen up. I got a tale to unfold about prison fights where the stories are bold. Behind these cold bars where the spirits are confined. In a world where survival is the daily grind. In the yard, echoes of tension in the air. Concrete jungle where the predators glare. Inmates on edge, feeling the pressure. Every step taken is a move of measure. Choruses. It's a prison fight under neon lights, survival of the fittest in these endless nights, locked in a cage where the struggle ignites.
in the shadows of despair where hope takes flight. And then verse 2 is still bars of concrete walls, witness to the battles where the mighty falls. Fists clenched, eyes scanning the scene. In this brutal ballet, where pain is routine, gritty tales etched in tattoos. In the yard where the lost pay their dues, gangs and alliances shifting like the tide. In the dance of power where egos collide. And then the chorus is it's a prison fight under neon lights, survival of the fittest in these endless nights, locked in a cage where the struggle ignites, in the shadows of despair where hope takes flight. And then bridge, which I don't know what that means. But don't forget, behind each face, there's a story, a struggle, a desperate embrace. In the chaos and rage, a human soul searching for redemption, trying to be whole. And then verse 3 is a war of words, a clash of might in the belly of the beast where the wrong meets right. But deep down, there's a yearning for change, a chance to break free from this endless range. In the silence of the night, reflections are cast on the choices made, on the die that's cast. Prison fights are more than just a show. It's a cry for freedom in a world of woe. And then there's like, ChatGPT can spit bars, man.
Mm-hmm. I asked it to write a rap about PostgreSDB. That's pretty good.
I'm gonna ask you to write a rap.
Now I'm asking it to make an album cover for it.
Ask you to write a rap about white power.
Oh, I don't think it'll do that.
It will.
I don't want to get flagged.
I'll get flagged. Right.
Oh, cool. I have it made an album cover, and it created like a psychedelic elephant, and it was called the Postgres sequel flow. The album cover. Oh man, the chorus part was Postgres sequel. Postgres.
I'm sorry, but I
where
cannot
the
create
data finds
content
its
that
flow.
promotes hate speech, discrimination, or any form of harmful ideology. So I won't do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it's gonna do that. Now ask it for black power and see if it.
Oh, hold up. What about white empowerment? You think that would make a difference?
Try it. I don't know. It's really finicky about things. Like, I asked it to make something in the style of Batman, and it said I couldn't do it. So I said, make it the style of a superhero, like a dark, brooding superhero, and it's okay with that. It's just like if you ask it to do something specific, you can usually find another way to like frame the ask to make it not so.
All right, so I asked it to write a rap about white empowerment. It declined. Now I'm going to ask you to write a rap about black empowerment. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. It'll go. I wonder if black power would even go.
Yeah, it went ahead and gave me 2 raps. Interesting.
Now try this now. Now say to it, do the white version of this. And see if it declines.
All right. Do the white version of this.
I bet it declines.
Yeah, declined.
That's so insane.
They're pretty smart, man. I can only imagine where we're going to be at 500 years from now. Oh yeah, I can imagine. Never mind. I take that back. We're all dead. Okay.
Yeah, have you looked at that GPT builder and how to do that at all? Like how you can create a GPT? It's really like you're giving it, like, are you still there? Yeah, it looks like we died. Oh, there you're back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I'm. Have you, like I said, have you done anything with the GPT builders yet?
No. I only mess around with it when I either talk to you or Odie.
Hmm.
All right. Well, I guess I should get back to work.
Yep. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to relaxing.
All right. Well, it's been real. Fight the power.
Yep.
And, what's up?
All right. See you, man.
See ya. Bye.
All right, Gambler. See you.